Hey, love, welcome back to the Intuitive Empire podcast. I am not as awake as I sound. I actually don't usually record you a separate intro from the show, but this week I am doing that because I have an awesome invitation for you. So it's actually 8 a.m. and Jonathan just got Ava out the door to school, and it is my job to come down here and record this for you. So I'm drinking my decaf. And and here I am. So what I want to share with you is that Monday, April 12th, there's going to be an amazing kickoff to my 5-day free magnetic embodiment challenge. I have not hosted a free challenge online in almost 2 years. So I am really, really excited, and I'm kind of nervous too. So you should join just to support me. No, JK. But for real, this is amazing. It's going to have a lot of really good energy. I already can feel it happening. So it's really good for you, specifically if you are a highly sensitive, spiritual, empathic, intuitive entrepreneur, or you just have big dreams, but specifically, you know that you have something bigger than you to do here that's not just about you and your individual life. You're here to make a positive impact. And just in case you're brand new to me, I'll tell you, but if you've been listening, then you might already know what my mission is really helping highly sensitive women transform their relationship with their sensitivities and ultimately turn them into superpowers through personal development, spirituality, and physicality, and also the emotional mastery. So this is what the 5-day magnetic embodiment challenge is going to have a little piece of all of this. I call it my free framework, and it stands for feeling good in your body, your relationship with the universe, and your intuition, your emotional mastery, like I said, and then your energetic magnetism. Because what I have seen over and over again is that it's not really enough to just have a mission. It's not enough to have mad brilliance inside of you or a business even that's thriving if you're not in alignment with what your highest purpose is and how to stand in the power of that. And that is truly what my mission is. I believe we each have brilliance within us that is individual to us, and it is at utmost importance that we harness that we discover it and we own it and we show up in it. That's what this is about. It's your true authentic power. Okay. So if you're liking this, you are going to love the 5-day challenge. It's going to be easy. Everything I teach is powerful, potent, and very quick and digestible. Okay. No crazy prompts that are going to take you all day long. I want you to succeed. I want you to be able to do each and every prompt because you're going to get so much out of it. I promise you, you're going to love it. So I'll drop the link in the show notes here for you. Make sure to sign up. There's also an opportunity to upgrade your challenge experience with a 14-minute chakra activation. If you watched my stories yesterday, I was talking about it, and it is epic. Like, you need to do this just for the chakra activation, okay? Because it's so good. All right. I guess I was more hyper than I thought at 8 in the morning. Love you so much. So glad you're here. Listen to this episode. Sign up for the Magnetic Embodiment Challenge. Today, we are interviewing Jason Goldberg on the podcast. And Jason Goldberg, as you will see, is someone who I stalk. I don't stalk him, but I just love him so much. You'll hear all about it. He's incredible. He's such a passionate and powerful leader who's really, really authentic to who he is. It's very inspiring. He's super successful, but he would just be down to earth and give you a big hug if he met you in person. Love him dearly, and super excited for you to receive some of his magic on this episode. So go listen right now. Okay, bye. All right, welcome to the Intuitive Empire podcast. I have already done an Instagram story and embarrassed myself and admitted that I believe Jason Goldberg is my best friend. And now you know who our guest is. I love to do a really warm-hearted introduction, as you guys know. So I will tell you that I first met Jason at an event. It was Maru's event, Infinite Receiving, and he was speaking, and I think he was speaking later that day. So of course he was like getting a moment to himself, hanging out literally in the corner of a huge room on a bench. And so I was like, totally going to go hang out with him. Okay. So I just started it off right then. I just slid. I think I even might've like slid on the bench a little bit to come and be like, hi, and ended up sitting there for about an hour chatting. And it's just like the rest is history. But I will tell you, one of the things that has impressed me the most, and it impressed me that weekend, and it's never left me, is how authentic Jason is to his performer. Like, he's such a performer. He literally rapped on stage. Okay. And so he lights up the stage and he shows up that way, but he holds this, like, he is gifted because he holds this energy as he comes and he looks you in the eye and he talks to you, off of stage. And most people don't do this, if you guys haven't noticed. So I honor him so deeply as a performer, as a human, and as the just beautiful person he is. So welcome, Jason Goldberg.
How do I possibly, like, that's like, I'm going to cry. Like, that was beautiful. I actually forgot, until you started telling that story, I forgot. I knew we met at Maru's event, but I forgot about me sitting on a bench off in a corner, kind of like mentally preparing. And then you came over, and it's funny because normally I probably, and this is not to be mean, but like if I'm kind of trying to get in the zone, I would kind of like say, oh, hey, it was great to meet you, but I'm going to like do whatever. And like, I just didn't think to do it. Like, I was just like, we were talking and I was like, this person's fucking awesome and we're going to hang out and talk. And before you know it, it's like, I think it was I feel like it was more than an hour.
I think it might've been.
We just like hung out and there was such a great connection right from the beginning. So I'm so happy you came over and did that. And I'm so happy that we've been able to cultivate this friendship, and we are besties. I don't know what this fucking awkward bullshit about us not being, we are besties. That's why we're here right now. So thank you for that amazing introduction and for having me here.
Oh my gosh. No, it's so true. And you guys, I feel like it's a testament to actually putting yourself out there, and I know we all have these online presences, and that's where the rage is, right? Like, do it online, but like, how are you in person? Like, isn't that the truth of who you are? And I know I just spoke to that, but I feel like, and I think I've told you this before, but I was deeply impressed by your ability to hold the space on stage and then come right down to earth. Because there kind of is that, right? Like, as a performer, as a speaker, there can be this like two different versions of yourself, don't you think?
Totally. Well, and I get that from a lot of people. I hear from a lot of people, and it's literally probably the best compliment anybody can give me. So without you even knowing, you gave me like literally my favorite compliment is you're the same on stage as you are off stage, or you're the same online as you are offline. And I hear from a lot of people, like I was just at an event a couple weeks ago and somebody came up and said that to me, like, you're the same, you're approachable offline and off stage like you are online and on stage. And I said, thank you. And they said, there are other speakers, a lot of speakers I've met who are not that way. Yeah. And to me, that's just like, it's a disservice. It's one thing to say like, I'm shy or I need some time to re-energize or whatever. I get that. If you're like a speaker and when you come off, you're like, you just given it all on stage, you need a few minutes, that's fine. Totally. But it's different from being like, love, acceptance, inclusion, service, blah, blah, blah. And then when somebody catches you, you're like, F off. Like, you kind of like blow them off. And so I have compassion for the speakers that do that, because obviously they feel like there's something they need to protect by not being open that way. Yeah. But for me, that's like the joy for me is actually like, there's an equal joy of being on stage and being off. And the people that I love and follow, religiously, for lack of a better word, are the people that do the same thing. You do that as well. I got to give that feedback to people like Jay Shetty, right? Jay Shetty's like the biggest personality in the world. He was on Ellen. He like literally was on Ellen yesterday. And this is a guy that the way you see him online and on stage, exactly how he is in real life.
I can feel that too.
Totally.
And I feel like that's what's happening. And we were kind of just touching on the foreshadowing of what's necessary in business, and your whole thing is the competition proof business. And so in that, I feel like this is it, right? Like, this is what we were alluding to when I was like, we better press record because this is some good shit. And also it is this piece of it. It's the being true to who you are, the loving, compassionate. Why are you even on stage?
Right.
Like, why are you carrying a message forward into the world? It's probably to help people.
Right, exactly.
Right? Like, don't we have the same mission?
Yes, absolutely. And we're in a world now, right? We're like, so we've gone through the industrial age. We've actually even gotten through the information age. We're in the connection age right now. This is like, our currency is connection, and not manufactured connection, but like actually connecting with people. And it's so funny because they did a study, and I can't remember who it was that did it. I think it may have been Kissmetrics, which is one of these like online analytics companies. They did a test of the most opened subject lines for emails, like the most successfully opened email subject lines. And do you know what one of the most popular and most open subject lines was for an email?
What is it?
You are not alone.
Oh,
Like I have chills as I say it,
Yeah.
because it's like we fucking need connection so bad in this world. So if you're somebody who has a message in the world and you're sharing that on stage, you are doing a disservice to yourself and to everybody who follows you by not carrying that connection offline and off stage.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. And it's like a world that has never been more connected.
Right,
Right. In
exactly.
so many ways. And yet, yeah, we all feel that disconnect, I feel like. And I think it's because of the comparison, and it's because of our ability to see that everyone else looks like they're all connected. And then we beat ourselves up for not feeling how they look.
So true. Yeah. Social
It's
media is great for that.
so much built in. So I love it. And I do like getting back to the idea that, I mean, isn't this, not to like give all your secrets at once, but isn't part of building, I mean, not having competition, period, like building a competition proof business. I mean, do you come back to the idea that it's really just about being you? Is that kind of part of it?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a huge part of it. And I have no secrets. I'll share everything.
Okay.
So yeah, and I agree. And the distinction I make is that I don't think about creating competition absent businesses, right? But instead competition proof businesses.
Yeah.
So there can be somebody next to me who literally could steal my content and be teaching it word for word, and my business would still be competition proof. It wouldn't be competition absent, because literally there's somebody there teaching the exact same thing I'm teaching.
Right.
And bonus, I mean, like, this is something that especially coaches and quote thought leaders and speakers and online educators, they hate when I say this, but we are all in the PR business. And when I say the PR business, I mean permission and reminders, right? None of us is doing anything that's really that revolutionary. And so to think like, oh, the thing you're doing, I know, right? Exactly. And I've had people say that to me before, like, oh, not me, my stuff's revolutionary.
Okay, oh no, I feel you. I am not special. Yeah, that's not the point.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing is that you're not special, right? Quote, you're not special. Yep. But there's this beautiful distinction that a woman named Nancy Klein makes. She wrote these two great books. One's called Time to Think, and the second one is called More Time to Think. Great name for a sequel.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and she has this distinction she makes, and she basically says, and she's not saying it in the context of what we're talking about, but it still works, is that we as human beings, and whatever work we do or however we show up in the world, we are both essential and irrelevant. Right? We're essential and irrelevant. So it's irrelevant. The stuff that I'm teaching could be exactly the same as everybody else, but it's still essential that I show up to do it, because the way that I do it may resonate with somebody in a way where they've heard it 12,000 times, but the 12,001 time that it comes from me, it finally sinks in, and they have the ability to have a higher likelihood of transformation in their world.
Oh my God. I love that. I feel like it speaks so directly to our relationship with our soul and our ego as well. It's like the way that we need to get out of our own head and get into our heart and get out of our own way and take the action, right? It's like that. It's essential that we show up, and the parts of ourselves that we're usually focused on are completely fucking irrelevant.
You nailed it. That's totally it. And that's hard to do, right? Because it's, it depends kind of what your beliefs are. Are you an Enneagram person at all?
I just did it this week for the first time. I don't know. I'm a 9.
So I just did it like a week ago. So this is like, I'm super new also. So you and I are very closely aligned. So I'm a 2. So 2 and 9s are very like, so you're like the harmonizer, like peacemaker. I'm the people pleaser and the helper and things like that. So I think I don't know how much it works for 9s, but I know for me being a 2, when I'm in my unhealthy 2, it is like trying to seek approval, trying to seek validation, trying to people please. And I know that I go there. Like I have a timeshare there, and I go at least 2 weeks a year. Like I definitely know that I do that sometimes. But there's also a part of like, whatever feels like it's your ego, if you can find a way to channel your ego to propel you to be of service, then your ego can be okay. Like it can be something that you can actually use to your benefit. Because I feel really fucking good when I help people. That's my ego. And it's actually really providing service at the same time. So it's okay.
Oh my gosh. I know, because there's no abandoning it.
No.
One of the exercises I teach in my program is around desires. And, I help highly sensitive women or intuitive women. And one of the things that we struggle with the most is actually feeling the way that our success impacts other people in a negative way. Like a lot of us have this story that if we shine as brightly as possible, then in some way we're taking something away from someone else. Or if we're successful and they're not, are we going to make them feel bad? Right? It's all this connection to empathy and feelings for other people.
Yeah.
And so I've built a lot of my content and lessons around sort of bypassing these beliefs that have been ingrained. And then how can you allow yourself to step up and out anyway? It's not like you're gonna, you know how it works. Like you're not gonna, the belief is still gonna exist. Okay. It's not gonna not exist. Let's just be real. And so inside of it, I created something I call self-service and soul service.
Ooh,
and in one desire, in what you desire, there's always going to be a larger thread to something bigger than you, which is what's to link it, right? You're always like, what's the why?
Right.
What's the why, if you really boil it down, is almost always to create some type of positive impact for anybody who wants to help people. But what happens so commonly is that we lose, well, what is your, okay, yes, but what is your self-service and what's going to make you feel good? Like you're saying, Jason, you know that you like when people approve of you, approving of you, right? Okay. So what's like a really awesome way for you to show up on stage?
Right.
Like, it's really great for you to be a performer, to get that positive feedback from people, to be pleasing them in that way. And then you get it's two birds with one stone, which is a strange thing. But this idea that it's like, if you can build a business and create a life around your passions that both create a soul service and a self-service in one, right? These aren't two different things, all in one fell swoop. Hello. It's so awesome. You get to get out of your way and also create the impact and also feel good about yourself. Yay.
Totally. I love, that's a great distinction and a great way to meld those things together. And I've never heard anybody speak about it like that at all. So that's incredible. That's really,
thank you. I mean, it's it's one of the core lessons in my program when we work on the throat chakra, because also we need to stop hiding that we want more.
Yeah.
We need to stop hiding that we're as great as we are. And all of these reasons that we're like, let's just stay in the box or underneath the cap.
Right.
So I love what you're saying.
That's a permission play too. Like I see this all the time. And I mean, I've felt this before too, but I see it more with other people where like, they don't want to celebrate their wins. Right.
Yeah.
Like, because then you're bragging and all this.
Okay. But you just said this before we got on.
Yeah.
And I told you something good about you and you were like, no, it's fine because I won't say it about, what did you say?
Oh yeah. True. No. Yeah. I won't say anything. Like I won't toot my own horn about me being good at something. That's definitely something I don't typically do that. And I don't know what that is. Like it's probably some element of the unhealthy too, but it's weird because it goes against the two also at the same time, which just shows all these personality tests are bullshit.
Yes. If you base your entire life and existence on them, yes, that's not good.
Exactly. No, but it is so true. I think there is something about, it's weird though, because I'll talk about the things I've created. I just won't like necessarily take as much credit. I think I'll talk about things that have been successful as long as I can pin it on somebody else having done something. Yeah. Right? So like, it's not about like, look at me because I helped this person do this in their business. It's just look at that person who did that thing in their business.
So it's taking the credit is mainly where there's, like, where did you learn about the idea of taking credit? And like, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to you to actually, and it's praise, isn't it?
Yeah. Praise. Yeah. I think it's weird because it's like, you know what? I think one thing that's come up for me, and this is a really weird thing because I love receiving praise and I love receiving like when I come off stage and somebody says like, oh my God, that was this or whatever, or I do a Facebook Live and there's all these, like, I love
like words of affirmation.
I love all that's one of my love languages is words of affirmation, 1,000%. And at the same time, I think in a professional context, there's some notion of, what if I can't live up to that long term, right? So if I don't accept it now, then I don't have to worry about not failing at it in the future, right? It's a really interesting thing that I'm still playing with. I mean, there's so many things. We're all always playing with everything. Nothing ever goes away, like you said.
I am playing with everything.
Yeah, play with all the things. Play with all the things.
Yeah. No, that is interesting. I feel like we have those attachments. Like I personally won't set goals because I'll be disappointed if I don't reach them. So I've just learned I don't not take action and I don't not have big dreams, but I've just learned that if I'm like, I'm going to have 20 people enroll and it's going to be this much money, like that literally gives me anxiety just saying that right there. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, do I need to heal that? I don't know, maybe, but do I need to work around it? Definitely. So let's start with that.
Yeah. And the perfect analogy for that I've heard that I love is from Stephen Pressfield. I think it was in The Art of War. I think so. War of Art, rather. I think it was in the War of Art, where he says people that think they need to heal before they can do their work in the world should look at athletes, professional athletes. Because if they waited to heal before they actually went out there and did the work that provides value to the world, they'd only perform half the season.
Yeah.
But they go out and they work while they're healing, right? The healing happens as a side effect of them doing the work they're meant to be doing in the world. And I think it's a great thing for us to remember as creatives, as artists, as activists, as entrepreneurs, like all those things still apply.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. And something else I think you're saying, which I'm sort of going to dissect it, that you love, your number two or whatever it is in you that wants to serve other people, that wants to help other people, and you want the approval, right? So like the flip side of helping someone definitely could be approval.
Sure.
And it also could be attachment and all of these other things. But it's like something I've learned through watching Tony Robbins, which I used to be a bigger fan before he said all that Me Too stuff. But I also do see the value. Like he's incredible at what he does. And he is so fucking dysfunctional. He's so dysfunctional in what he does. It's insane. It's insanity. And at the same time, he's leveraged it. Right? He's leveraged the dysfunction that was created in his early years in his relationship with his mother, and how he has taken on the control, like it's all control of how he can actually do something about it. This is what he thinks he can do about his childhood pain. And I mean, he speaks about this, so it's not, some of it is surmising, but it's really cool because it gives you permission to be like, okay, great. Maybe I want approval. Maybe I want everyone to like me. Mine is more like, I just want people to like me. I don't know if that's approval or not, but it's like, okay, great. Well, then how can you create something positive out of that?
Right.
Like, how can you leverage the dysfunction?
Yep. And I think a good sign is if you are questioning whether you're using too much of your ego, then you're probably not using too much of your ego. Right? Yeah. Like if you're cognizant enough to be like, oh, I'm worried that I'm doing this for the wrong reasons, you're probably not doing it for the wrong reasons.
No, or maybe you are, but no, you're not, because then you'd recognize it and then you change.
Right. Totally. Yeah. It's the ones who are like, no, my ego never comes into play. Then those are the ones you have to worry about. It's like it's the people who say they're not crazy that you want to make sure to hide all the sharp stuff around, right? Yeah. The ones who actually like are not crazy don't ever talk about it.
No, because if you're saying, you're not crazy, then you're just probably suppressed. And that's a whole other issue.
Right.
And what are you taking to mask all those feelings? Like,
Totally.
we're all crazy.
Yep. In our own way. We are batshit crazy. I have my batshit crazy for sure.
You are. Yeah. I mean, well, I just messaged you recently and I was like, dude, are you like always on? Like, what is going on with you? When do you rest? But
I do, but it's also this thing where it's like, it's this weird thing. Like when you're doing, and it's going to sound super cliche, like I know it and I don't really give a shit, but like when you're doing the thing that really lights you up, you really do. Like you create energy out of nowhere. Now it doesn't mean you don't crash right after, but you call upon this thing. So like when I do like a Facebook Live, for example, even today, like I did a Facebook Live in my group, and like I've been super busy, just came back from being gone for a week and catching up, and I'm doing this new thing starting this week where I'm not responding to anything for the first 2 hours of my day when I wake up, which like I roll over and I'm already on my phone. Yeah. Like I have one eye kind of squinted because I'm still half asleep and I'm already responding to WhatsApp and Slack and Facebook and Instagram and email. I'm doing it like in bed and I'm like, oh, my day's getting hijacked by other people's needs. I'm going to stop that shit. I'm going to have more of a priority on having the morning be mine. And so that means I have like less time during the day to do the things that I'm doing because I'm creating that time in the beginning. So with all that stuff happening this week, as I've been starting that new practice, I was going to go to do a Facebook Live today and I'm like, oh man, like, I don't know if I have the energy for that. Like, I really want to serve them. And I have this message that I really want to share today that I know is going to require me to really tap into this and blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I hit the go live button from somewhere, this energy just emerges and I can't fucking turn it off. And afterwards, will I need 20 minutes of a nap or some meditation or like just to walk around in nature and like feel some sun on my skin? Hell yes, I will. But like when I'm in it, I can't turn it off. It's not possible.
Yeah. And it's like, it lights you up that you found, I mean, that's part of your zone of genius is performance. And I keep calling it that because I just did a live event this weekend, Supercharge Receiving Your Desires.
Nice.
And it was so amazing. It was just, it was beautiful. And my mom was there. And afterwards, my mom gave me feedback, which she's so good at. She's very analytical. And so she'll like give me all the things that nobody else will. Yeah. And one of the things she said was, well, you're not only teaching and holding the space for everybody in the room, but you're also performing. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally am. And I just sort of thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I guess you can just deliver information and not be performing.
Right.
But I'm embodying what I'm saying and using my arms and like, this is here and this is here. And, you know, and it is a performance. When you're once a performer, always a performer.
Right.
I believe also. And I know you had a performance background before you started speaking.
Yep.
So did I.
Yep.
Being on stage, and mine was dance and yours was rapping. I mean, pretty similar.
Pretty similar. one always needs the other.
Yes, exactly. So I keep coming back. I've actually used the word performance, but I'm like, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you are a performer and it's not just, okay, let me deliver the information.
Right.
Right. Let me teach. And teaching is great. I mean, I'm a teacher too. And so are you.
Yeah.
And there is that element of performance that you give every time you do a live video or you're on stage, right?
Yeah. And that's the edutainment, right? That's what I say. Like I call myself an edutainer. So It is education, entertainment. And that really is like, that is the key is if you are somebody who is creating content or you want to be a speaker or you want to do stuff online or whatever it is, like education's not enough and entertainment's not enough. Like, I mean, those things are great in and of themselves, but if you can mash those two together, if you can meld those together and you don't have to be a comedian, you don't have to be funny to be entertaining. There are movies where people are like having their heads sawed off and that's extremely entertaining to certain people. I think it's ridiculous and I can't watch that stuff, but for some people that's super entertaining. So I'm not saying you should like cut people's head off in your Facebook Live, but whatever you can do to
we'll just edit that part out. Just kidding.
I love how you went super sultry on that as well. It was supposed to be a public service announcement, but it turned into like a phone sex operator.
Note to editor.
but it's really true. Like if you can find ways to be entertaining, and here's the key, like the shortcut to be entertaining is to be fucking human. Like, yeah. and that's so funny to say that in this day and age, the thing that's entertaining online is you not trying to be a professional.
Not trying to be entertaining.
Not trying to be entertaining. And that's actually like, that comes from the acting world, because in the acting world, when they're teaching people about how to play a drunk, they don't teach you to be drunk. They teach you to act like a drunk person trying to be sober.
Oh, huh.
Right? So if you try to act like the thing, it's too on the nose. It doesn't land.
Yeah,
If you don't worry about acting like the thing and you act like something else, the thing will emerge.
I love it.
So just be a human.
I want to try it now.
The drunk thing or the funny thing?
The drunk thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try to be sober. Oh, I love that though.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. I was just thinking about, how do you just think of Facebook posts? Like randomly, I'm like going to sleep or, and I'll just be like, oh, Facebook post.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you think in content, right?
Oh yeah. Constantly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, me too. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you here. I was thinking about a post and I didn't actually do it, but maybe it was just for this conversation about saying, if you're not performing, and this was, it was the performance conversation brought this up for me. If you're not performing in your content or in your videos or the way you show up, well, then one of two things. Either you're boring and you should not have an online business. Yep. Like if you have a boring personality, then get offline.
Yep.
Don't be online. Okay. Cause it's just not good. It's not going to be helpful for you. Right. But if you're just hiding who you truly are, and that comes off as boring or maybe not as engaging as it could be, well, then fucking stop that now and get into who you really are and perform, like exaggerate who you really are. And I feel like that's what you do. Like when you're saying, you're like, okay, part of me is tired. I was just doing all these things. I didn't answer back all the people early, so I did it at noon. Like I got some real shit going on, right? This is real life.
Real shit. This is real 21st century shit.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. First world. And yet when you flip the switch, literally, right? Press the live, you're stepping into who you are at full capacity.
Right.
Not someone else.
Right.
Right.
Well, and I think there's something there too, that when you, and I don't know when this really landed for me, or if it's something that I've just cultivated over time accidentally, I don't know what it is, but the energy that emerges for me that allows me to be a performer, I think it emerges because it's not about me summoning energy to be a performer for myself. right? It's about the person on the other side that I really want to be impacted. So if I'm in integrity with my word, and my word is that I'm going to do everything I can to facilitate transformation for people, that when I hit the live button or my foot goes onto the stage, then I'm not summoning energy for me. I'm summoning energy to fulfill this bigger purpose that actually has very little to do with me.
So good. It's like, are you in integrity with what you say you actually want to do?
Yep. That's it. And in my world, and Tanya from my team laughs at me all the time because she's had a different relationship with the word integrity than I do. And so we joke around because I'll say something and she goes, "Oh, you mean integrity?" And so it's become like an inside joke. Yeah. But for me, integrity is never a moral or ethical thing. Yeah. It has nothing to do with your character. It has nothing to do with if you're good enough or not good enough. Like, it's literally a binary thing. Here's the thing I say I'm committed to. Am I taking the actions or working on the belief system that supports that? Or am I not taking action or indulging in belief systems that create more distance between me and that? And if the second is the truth, that we're not in integrity, quote, not in integrity, not taking the action or facilitating our own belief system being changed to go towards the thing we want, what could I do in this moment to bring me 5% closer to being in integrity with that thing? It's always binary, and it's never a moral or ethical obligation.
Yeah. Is that how she was raised? That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's different for her. I think for her, integrity was something where it was like, you're a good person or a bad person. And she's done a great job shifting around that, and she gets it now. At least she gets the way I talk about it. And it's not like a finger wagging. Integrity is not a finger wagging exercise. It's just a binary question.
I feel like it's an opportunity for wholeness. Like, there's either a hole in the system or there's not, right? Like, it's solid.
Yep.
It's true to what it's meant to be.
Yep. It's like the rappers have always said, since you brought up my rap background, rappers said forever, and I don't know if it originated with rappers, but for me it originated with rappers, is rappers would always say, word is bond, right? Word is bond. My word is my bond. If I say it, it's done. If I say it, you can count on it. And like, I grew up hearing that, especially like in 90s hip hop, like Wu-Tang would always say, "Yo, word is bond, son, word is bond." And I grew up, and so like, that's how I tried. I'm not always great at it. There's sometimes I'm out of integrity, but I try to live my life in a way where word is bond, word to others or word to myself.
Yeah, no, it's so good. And it's funny because I feel like that's so simple. It's like I could teach my 5-year-old that. Right. And at the same time, those simple concepts are things that we all need to be reminded of, right? Which is the PR, the R of the P and the R.
Right. Yes. In the PR, that is the R. Yeah, you're absolutely right. 1,000%.
Well, and it's, something I was talking to Jonathan about. So Jonathan started doing podcast producing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is really cool. So he produces this podcast, word to the editor, right? That's it. That was him. And he's also doing other people's, and what he's finding, and he's not on Facebook, okay? He's not in this whole world where he understands that so many messages sound very similar. And he's hearing it and he's like, what the hell? This lady is saying all the things that Jaya says. I feel like he might think they're copying me, but he doesn't understand that it's a movement, right? This is the online coaching space. If you think you're going to have a message that hasn't already been said, like you said, you're not special. Right. You're relevant.
Right, exactly.
It's not special. And so we were talking about this, and I was saying, it's like, at the core of it, it doesn't fucking matter what you're saying. It really only matters who you are behind it. And so this whole thing you can learn at 5 years old about integrity, it's like becomes the most valuable thing to you and your business and your future.
It's so huge. There are people everywhere that already have, either they have the same belief system as you, or they want to have the same belief system as you, or maybe they had the same belief system as you, but they've kind of let that go because, circumstances have occurred in their life and they'd like to get it back. They already exist. And so, when I talk about like tribe building, I actually say, like, stop trying to build your tribe. Like, the people already exist. You just raise your hand and say, "Hey, weirdos, like I'm a weirdo too, and I'm over here if you want to hang out." And they go, "Oh, finally, the weirdo I was looking for," right? Yeah. And it's the easiest analogy I can think of is back in the day, I used to be a ridiculous fan of the show Lost. Did you ever watch Lost?
I didn't watch it, but I mean, I'm familiar.
Okay, well, then the podcast is over. I'm just kidding.
Okay, goodbye.
So I love Lost. Like, Lost is one of those shows, though, that if you watched Lost, you either loved it or you hated it. Like,
okay.
So if I walk into like a networking event and there are like 500 people there, and I'm like, I don't know what to say, I don't know who to go to, I don't know how to open a conversation. If I literally raise my hand and say, "Hey guys, I'm like a huge Lost fan. Anybody else here ever been a fan of the show Lost?" Guarantee people would flock to me, and we would have the most intimate, connected, fun conversation of anybody in that networking event, because I simply raised my hand and said, "This is what I love and believe in. If you do too, come over here and let's chat." And that's the
love
same
it.
opportunity we have online.
It's so true. I call it what you stand for, but it's like that, you know?
It totally is.
So good. So you know that we're going to be at the same event.
Yes.
Day weekend.
I'm so excited about that. It's going to be amazing.
How cool is this? So for everybody listening, y'all need to come to LA. It's May 11th and 12th.
I think so. Yeah. That sounds
May
right.
11th and 12th for Harmonious Hustle.
Yes.
You can message either one of us to get details. But Jason, are you keynote speaking?
Whatever Nicole wants me to do, wherever she points me, I love Nicole and so happy to support her. So yeah, it's going to be an incredible event. It's like, what did she say? It's like Kundalini mixed with Drake or something.
Yeah. Drake meets Kundalini.
I love that. That's like so perfect for us. So I think that's going to be amazing.
I mean, that is perfect for us. I literally did Kundalini this morning, and I don't listen to Drake, but I listen to dance hall booty reggae.
Well, there you go.
It's like whatever, same diff, you know?
That totally works. And you know, and Drake, and I don't know if she picked Drake for this reason, but like, I think it was actually Gary Vee that said something about this, that for the most part, nobody will ever, a couple people have, but for the most part, nobody will come at Drake or Eminem to like battle them. And the reason is because both of those guys own their shortcomings and own their limitations and own their vulnerabilities so much and tell on themselves so much that anybody else that tries to do it, it's like, oh, you mean the thing that he already talked about on that last song?
Yeah.
We've been there, dude. So like, I love that she picked Drake because I think that is a nod to us being vulnerable and sharing these parts of ourselves in service of others.
Totally. And being bold and just being authentically yourself.
Yes.
Which, come on, we're all, you know, none of us are straight laced. Like, we aren't trying to have these brands that are perfect. At least I'm not. I'm not like a cookie cutter brand.
No.
I'm not trying to be. And I feel like that's not fun. So
yeah, and there are people that still aren't going to like you. Like, it's not be yourself. So everybody's going to accept you. Well, I guess you don't have trolls like I do. I had a woman recently who wrote on one of my posts, I think it was an ad or something. It was a video of me. And she wrote, "You're so irritating." Post. And people laugh at me because I respond to all my trolls. Like, I know I probably shouldn't, but I respond to all my trolls, but I do it with like, I make it funny. Like, I make
what
it.
What did you say to her?
So I wrote back to her, I said, "You are dead fucking right. I am super irritating sometimes." Like, that was just my response to her.
Like, I get irritated with myself too.
I irritate the shit out of myself. And so I wrote that back to her, and she wrote back to me and said, "Well, I guess you're not that bad. You're not as irritating as my soon to be ex-husband."
Oh, honey. Honey.
So immediately I had this wave of compassion come over me for the soon to be ex-husband, and so happy that he's getting out of that. I want to go hang out and have a beer with him.
Oh my gosh.
But it's just like, you know, people are going to say whatever they say. There's this beautiful cloak of anonymity that the internet has. And it's like, you don't be yourself so that you can get everybody's approval. You be yourself so you don't have to worry about faking being somebody else to get people's approval.
I love it. It's so true. And you do it because anything else is just annoying and you'd have to remember stuff. Like,
that's it. You have to remember it. It's like telling lies. You have to remember which lies you told to who.
I can't remember shit. That's not happening.
Me either, Jackie. Oh, wait, hold on. Jaya.
Jackie. That's not funny, actually. Oh my gosh. Okay. So anything else to any wise words? You know, I told you, I kind of set the stage. I mean, most of the people who listen to me are soulful, spiritual women. They want, you know, they're definitely hungry for success and hungry to share their message, but it's for impact and it's for the sake of it. Right. And it's because they feel called, and there's really not an option not to listen to that calling. And I know that you definitely talk to people like that. And you also have a beautiful way of being a man. I mean, you're welcome. But, you know, being masculine in a world where it's predominantly women having these conversations. Yep. So I just wonder in that respect, if you have any words of wisdom for us.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I, you know, it's funny. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, like, you know, women are typically the people that work with me. Like, we just made a joke on our weekly group coaching call yesterday with one of my programs. I made this big joke that, "Hey guys, we have a guy joining us this week. Like, starting Friday, we're going to have a guy in the group." And they all got like very hot and bothered. But I love that because I feel like there is a really, this may not be exactly what you're talking about here, but there's a really great opportunity for the evolution of men right now. So like for women who are listening, who have men in their lives or who are looking to have a man in their life or who work with men, like there's a really beautiful opportunity here for guys to show up and be in their masculine, as in being decisive, being providers, being resourceful, being whatever it is. And also being able to hold the space for the feminine, and not gender feminine, but the feminine energy. Yeah. And that's embodying that themselves. And whether that's, empathetic or being more in flow or being less controlling, whatever that is, there's a real opportunity for men to step up and do that right now. And we need the support of the type of women who are listening to your podcast to evoke that and to allow that to be safe for men to bring out into the world.
Yes, it's so true, because it's a co-creation. In this new paradigm, I call it the new paradigm of possibility. And the old way is not working. Not only that, it's broken. And so in this new era of possibility, it is so much more about co-creation. I know for me, the most alignment and both internal and external success I found is through co-creating with spirit and something more than me. Like just declaring that it is not about me, and that I'm the messenger. And so, it's like to think that is possible. And yet, it's not in our relationships is just crazy town. And it starts there in our relationships.
Yeah, so it's happening so much more. I mean, there's a lot of discussions that I'm having with people and around this, not even from a professional standpoint, just personally, that like, I live in a world now, and part of it's because I'm in LA, but I like to think that this is not just an LA thing. I live in a world now where I can like hug my male friends, where I can cry with my male friends. And it's not like, growing up, I would have derogatory homosexual slurs thrown at me from my friends if I try to do something that would take care of them. Where I like to, like, all my friends are hanging out at the house. And I'm like, I'm like, hey guys, like, anybody need anything? Anybody need like a drink? And they're like, sit down, fag. And I'm like, what? Why? And it told me to turn that off and to not be caring towards men. And so I didn't have like good male relationships growing up, but women were always very accepting of that. And so it was very easy to connect with women and to be friends with women and everything else. So I love now that men are coming around, and I have a group of men, and there are men everywhere who are welcoming that, because it's just another form of connection.
Amazing. So good. You're such a beautiful pillar for the new masculine, like the real masculine to emerge. I'm so honored to know you. I'm so honored to be your best friend.
I'm so honored to be besties together. Oh my God, I'm going to see you in May. I don't know why I'm using this. Where did this voice come from?
Well, I will see. I don't know how to do that voice. The only voice I know how to do is Borat, and I'm not even as good.
Oh, please do it. You have to.
Okay. I don't remember though. You'll be on my podcast, and it will be so fun. It'll be me and you. We'll be best friends forever.
Oh my God. For anybody who just heard that, you need to clip that out and make it your ringtone for when. Your ringtone.
We will be best friends. We will be best friends.
I so love that you did that. That was the perfect voice for this. That was amazing.
Okay, you're welcome. And sometimes a reggae accent, but like I need to have the right music on to do that. So we'll wait.
So we'll do that in May, and then we'll share it with your audience.
Yes, it'll be very good. I need to go stick my head underneath the blanket now. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for being here. And for everybody listening, we'll see you next time on the Intuitive Empire Podcast. Yay. Thanks so much for listening and being here. And if you loved this episode, please take a moment to rate it on iTunes. I feel so honored when I read your reviews, and I would love to feature you on the podcast as a spotlight review. Also, find me on Instagram at Jaya Rose, and I would be so excited to share your story into my story. I just love seeing the feedback and that you're listening. So share it out on social media, share it with somebody who you think it could benefit, because us showing up for other people is what this is all about. It's a ripple effect of change, and we do that by sharing. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time on Bliss Boss Talks.